Hey everyone, thanks for jumping in and on the channel tonight. We've got a lot going on the tournament. This is this has been a crazy day. I've got a lot of entries on this last day. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hey Russell, Brian, first time casting adventures. Glad you jumped in. We have been talking earlier. Thanks everyone for jumping in. I'm gonna give it a little bit of time before I throw up the old spreadsheet and look at the winners, etc. Or not winners. Make this clear before I go any further. Tonight is an update. As of the last email I got at 7:41 p.m. Eastern time tonight, but you have until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning to get me all entries. Trying to make it fair for those guys out on the West Coast who might get in late tonight to get all their entries in. But lots of fish turned in over the last few days. Hey, Gary, thanks for jumping in. Phase Fishing, thanks for jumping in as well. Like I said, we'll give it a little bit of time here before we if we get into the numbers and things of that nature. Let me throw the link out. If anybody would like to jump in and join me in the chat here, feel free to do so. I just ask everybody to kind of keep it PG-13. Did you get my entries 31 and 34? Yes, I did. The Michigan fisherman is registering pike because that's what he can catch in that long up in Michigan. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us. I will tell you, it's getting cold up that way, and it won't be long in Michigan before you'll be ice fishing. And I can't wait, man. Your ice fishing videos, I tuned in all the time last year and checked them out. Patrick from Paul Man's Fishing, thanks for jumping in. Was not able to register last two fish. No cooperative fish. I'll tell you, Steve, that is a common theme that I'm hearing. I'm just going to say it like this. We got a lot of people saying they're going to, not a lot. We got a few folks saying this is going to be easy. We're going to make it, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to catch this long first and this and this. And it's all a great plan until you get out there casting and the fish don't cooperate. You got to catch them. It's great to have a plan. I think it's Mike Tyson that says, you know, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, and a great plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I think some folks, not people, but some bass punched back on during this tournament and didn't cooperate the way people thought they were. Hey, Zena tonight, thanks for jumping in. It's interesting though. I will tell you. Right now, we have over 300 fish that have been registered. We've only had, Mark Shender, thank you for jumping in. We've only had one bass over 25 inches, which will get a $40 gift card, and I'll identify that when we get to the spreadsheet. Hey, James, thanks for jumping in. James, thank you for saving us all from the giants of Louisiana, because I know you could have blown this out of the water. Matt from Reese Life Dad Life, thanks you for jumping in as well. Lots of you. You got some fish sandwiches. I get you. I think a lot of folks got some fish sandwiches from the small ones they caught during the second half of the tournament. But we did have, to give you an idea, we did have at the end of the day, we had about 38 of the 180 so fishermen register 5 bass or register bass in the second half. So a lot of people did catch bass in the second half, but depending on what size you registered, right? This is what made it tough. You had to catch one bigger than your largest in the first half. And I got a call just about 7:30 tonight from John and Lindy Hedrick down at Small Waters Charters. And John's like, Uncle, yep, I didn't get anything. They registered 21.5-inch bass in the first part of the tournament. And he caught a ton of 20s in the second half, but he couldn't get anything over 21.5, so they blanked. They were leading with close to 60 inches in the first half and blanked in the second half. And, that's fishing. That's the way it goes. Yes, James, I have seen those monsters coming out of your pond. James has got the best setup, one of the best setups I've seen. He can walk 100 yards out his back gate. He's got I'm going to call it the magical pond because he's caught a lot of fish out of it, and he keeps continually catching fish out of it. But you know, he's got a good fishery right there in the backyard, which we all wish we had. Gary says I might have been able to get some fish sticks. I hear you. Gary, you had a plan. I know you told me at least 3 times. If you don't know, Gary from Gary's Fish Tales is my tournament fishing partner when we go on live tournaments, which if you haven't checked it out, last week, Gary posted the tournament that we fished in Lake Eufaula, Alabama, the first day last week. And I guess, Gary, you'll release the second day coming up either today or tomorrow or tonight or tomorrow. So if you're not following Gary's Fish Tales, give him a hook. Got a lot of great content. He and I fished together on several different episodes. He's down in Florida, but we've been fishing together for 30 years. Thanks for that, Michigan Fisherman. It was a great format. I really wanted to make it where it was very competitive, and I think this format works. And you can get off to a fast start, but if you don't have the bass cooperating with you in the second half, it can be tough, right? And we had fishermen from California, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, all across the United States, right? And it was interesting to see the sizes of fish. And we have all this as bass fishermen. We have all these biases of the bass are bigger in Florida or they're bigger in Texas and this and that, maybe on average. But when you take out the fact that you can fish in any body of water on any day in your home county, town, lake, or state, and that changes the parameters, right, of the opportunity for you to catch great fish. And I think this, hey, Evelyn, thanks for jumping in. It changes the parameters a little bit, and it has definitely made it definitely more competitive. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Patrick. If everybody hit the old thumbs up, that would help on the old algorithm machine, for sure. Jiggin Jones, I get you. It's common theme here. Fishing was a little tough in the second half. And even here in Virginia, if I were fishing this tournament in Virginia, I don't compete in my own tournaments. That's ethically not right, but it'd have been tough for me because we've been in a little bit of a drought, and 2 of the lakes, one lake is shut down because it closes mid-October that I catch a lot of my big bass in, and then another lake that I catch big bass in, it's the water so low I can't get my boat in it. So it'd have been tough for me to be competitive in this tournament, even here in Virginia. And Brian, I know you're on here. I seen you earlier. Thanks for jumping in. Brian's in a kayak, and here in Virginia, and we call him the bass hunter around here. That's his handle. He usually catches some big bass, but didn't cooperate this part of the year here in Virginia. So, it is what it is. So it's about 10 after, and I just want to again let everybody know that what I'm going to show on this spreadsheet is not final. I will be setting up a video on the 9th of November at 8 p.m. Eastern to announce the winners. If you've done these tournaments with me in the past, I try to do a little bit of a quick entry, chat, and then get right to some animation and the winners. And what the folks that do win, just FYI, typically I will contact you the following day via email and let you know that your prizes are coming in the mail and ask you to let me know when they come in. So if you are one of those folks on the 9th of November that are the winners, I will get you your prizes. It usually takes Tackle Warehouse 3 to 5 days to process the gift cards, and you'll get an email notification for your gift card, and you can use that any way you choose there on Tackle Warehouse. Did I see Vincent Crowder? Hey, Vincent, man, you talk about turn it on. Every time I turned my Facebook feed on and did the old Shane Flynn Outdoors 5 bass draw, There's Vincent Crowder holding another big bass. I mean, he turned it on in the second half. You really did some great catches, man. You really caught some nice fish. It's amazing, you know, when the fishing's good, it's really good, right? And Vincent, you really caught some tanks. You know, you did. Hopefully, it puts you right where you need to be in the money, but we'll see here in just a few minutes. Backlash Fisherman said I caught a bunch of dinks. Yes, Backlash Fisherman. Listen, everybody, if you're not hooked on Backlash Fisherman, go over and hook on his channel. Give him a subscription if you would. What I will, just one thing before I jump to the spreadsheet, and I know I've said this twice now. Shane Flint Outdoors. I know when you look at me on YouTube, it just says Shane Flint. That will change in the very near future. I am now a corporation, Shane Flint LLC, and starting real soon, I will have a website up, and I will be the home of free bass fishing tournaments into the future. If you want to spread the word, please. I'm going to continue this. I'm working on sponsorships. I've got quite a few folks that are wanting to dive in on this free bass tournaments. I think if you're on the bank in a boat, in a canoe, or in a kayak, I want to offer every fisherman an opportunity to compete. Yeah, I know it's not $10,000 or $100,000 like Bass Masters and FLW and all that, but it's something to have fun, be a little competitive, and maybe put a few dollars in your pocket to help you on your fishing on your fishing adventures. So I will continue this. Stay tuned to the channel. I will take a pause in the latter part of December to spend time with family over the holidays, but I will send out my announcements of the tournaments coming up the 1st of January. And right now I'm planning on a minimum of 7 tournaments. So next year, a minimum of 7. And Reese Life Dad Life, I know you're a big smallmouth guy. I will do a smallmouth only tournament next year. There will be one smallmouth only. My big bass tournaments will be regional. We will separate those into east, south, north. The map will be similar to what BASS does on their regions. Not exactly, but similar. But I will continue this next year, and I can guarantee you this 5 bass draw format will always be around, because I said this in the initial video. It's meant to level the playing field for all bass fishermen, and to make you think strategically about what you can catch in your home waters. So we'll definitely be keeping that format. And if we get enough sponsorships, we may be looking at into that $500 to $1,000 first prize category. Hopefully we can get to that. You guys can help me out. The more you share this and get the word out, and I can share with the sponsors that I'm trying to get, that more people are interested, the more goodness we'll get for the tournaments coming up. So without further ado, and I do want to, as I get the spreadsheet up, I am going to do a 500 subscriber giveaway next week. Well, next week I got to do the announcement. The following week I'll be announcing my 500 subscriber giveaway. Just a little teaser. I got a box here with about $75 worth of goodness in it, and then I'll be giving away a $50 $50 gift card from Tackle Warehouse. And if I get to 550 subscribers, I'll do an extra gift card. And if I get to 600 subscribers in the next 2 weeks, I'll throw out a 3rd gift card. Just hey, Backlash Fisherman, thanks. You made 507 tonight. I appreciate it. So Gary, I see you down there. I'll bring you in just a second, but I want to share this spreadsheet of the current standings, everyone. This is not final. This is current. So here we go. Let me do a little share. Present. Share screen. And I want to go to this. I'm going to slide this over to the side. And you can see as of right now, Patrick Williams from Paw Man Fishing is at 102.25 inches in first place as of now. Mike Pendleton from Big Bass Posse, 95.75. And listen, let me. I got to plug this. That's all smallmouth bass. He's got to be the leading contender for the smallmouth only tournament I'll do next year. Kyle McLaughlin, I think you're in California. If you're on, let me know. You're in third place right now at 94.75. And then we have Nicole Four, and she emailed me a few minutes before this started and said, I'm fishing until midnight. So she's out there trying to get she needs another inch. She's thrown in a 19.5 and a 21.5, which are just tanks. Nice catches. So good luck, Nicole, tonight. And then we do have a tie there for what would be 5th and 6th, but that's not in the running. But that's where we're at as of right now, dependent on any other fish to come in before tomorrow. I do know that there's a few fishermen that I have talked to that I thought were going to be in the running, and they blanked in the second half. So right now it is wide open. If anyone else wants to throw in a fish, there's Calvin Allen. He throws another 20-incher in tonight. That's going to put him up there in close to that third place or 20.5. We got some folks that are hanging out down here that could definitely turn in a bigger fish to change this leaderboard before the morning. So Aaron Stoops is our current winner. He did register a 25-inch bass. He did not register it in the second half. That's why you don't see it here, because he caught it in the first half. But he will get a $40 gift card when I send out the winners. So congratulations to Aaron on just a monster bass. 25 inches is amazing. And I looked at the picture, looked again, looked the third time, was like easily over 25 inches. So it was definitely a great catch. So Aaron, congrats on catching a great bass there. So as of now, this is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I'll go ahead and throw 6th and 7th in there because they're in the 90s. Well, let's go ahead and let me do this again. Everybody in the 80s and up as of right now today, 8-18, that's our standings. So I hope everybody catches that. I will just throw this out there in truth in advertising. Patrick sent me an email. I was at the restaurant with my wife tonight about 5:30. We try to go to dinner on Wednesday afternoons, and I got the email from Patrick, and I was sitting there looking at the restaurant with my wife, and I was like, wow, he came off the top rope in the last little bit and threw in, look, that 21.75 and a 22-incher. That's amazing. Great catches, Patrick. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing here, jump back up. Thanks for yes, Paul Man, great. Yeah, and again, this is where we're at as of right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and add Gary into the stream real quick. Hey buddy, how are you?
I'm doing good. Well, I could be better if I would have caught 2 more fish, but I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the same thing. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was the sting. You talked earlier about us having a plan, and from the beginning, my plan was, hey, we're going to Eufaula for a 2-day tournament, and I'm pre-fishing. That's 3 days to try to catch a monster in Eufaula. I'll let you tell them what happened to Eufaula.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Is the video coming out for day 2 tonight or tomorrow?
I'm actually finishing editing it tonight. It should be out tomorrow morning. Worst case, Friday morning.
Yeah.
So
everybody go watch Gary Fishtails tomorrow, and you'll see the results of that. But just a little bit of a teaser.
Well, you saw day one. If you saw day one video, there was no monsters caught. I mean, the fishing, we were there, Shane. It was tough and dink heaven, So, and I mean, no, day 1 and 2, nobody caught a limit, which is
Nope.
5 fish, and
Yeah.
that's it's not a huge bass club, people. I'm not fishing the Bass Masters. It's a local angling club, and in this particular tournament, 15 boats showed up, and there was like 17 people or whatever. But for nobody to catch a limit, that's some tough fishing. So my Eufaula dreams went right out the wall.
Yeah, Gary. But what you're not adding into that, and this is not a exaggeration in any form, is there were 4 other tournaments going on Lake Eufaula that week.
Yeah, there were. We launched next to the ABA tournament, which had like 150 boats going out.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure they all did kind of the same as we did.
Yeah, I did go back now that they started posting the results, and I think we did some rough estimates. There were 4 tournaments that we know of that were announced on the lake, and probably close to 500 boats. And honestly, I've never seen so many damn bass boats. Like it was crazy. I know you see it a lot down there. Yeah, I know you see it a lot down there. But, but there was a lot of bass boats, and I did go back and look at the results of some of those, and they were low totals. They were low totals, with the exception of like 1 or 2 great catches.
Well, with that many boats, somebody's going to catch a monster, or somebody's just going to be in the right spot at the right time. When you have that many people on the lake, they're going to find some hiding spot where they're going to get the big ones, but we didn't find those hiding spots. So.
Yeah. And you know what, I won't spoil it, but it just goes to show, and when you watch that episode, if you do watch the episode, everyone, it pays to continue to cast. And I tell everyone, when you sent me your fish, I said, great catches, keep on at it, because consistency, and I'm saying this from personal experience, consistency and keeping on throwing will pay off in the end. And Gary, I'll leave it at that, but it does pay off for us at the end. So
just like day 1, last 45 minutes.
Yep.
So
we got onto them in 45 minutes. We went from duds to studs, or you went from dud to stud.
Right. So if you haven't checked it out, check out day 1 video. Day 2's coming out, but we fished all day hard. Shane had the first fish of the day. Shane got a keeper. That was it. The next 9.5 hours of fishing, nothing. Me, I got my first keeper midday, like at noon. And we're both in the same boat going, wow, this is terrible. Then the wind picked up and we got into a spot. And what was weird to me after reviewing the videos, Shane is an awesome spinnerbait fisherman. And he could just not hook up in the video. He could not hook up. And I ended up getting 3 keepers, which put me at 4, which I ended up in first place. Because I don't have to, this isn't a spoiler. So first place was 6.86 pounds on 4 fish. That's how tough the day was, But if we didn't find that nice windy spot, we would have both come in with 1 fish. That's it,
Yep, that's right. Hey, Ted, thanks for jumping in.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
And everybody else who tried, hey, we all feel your pain, but that's why we, Shane and I, we talked about this tournament for a while, trying to figure out a good tournament that would make everything equal. And let me tell you, this is the equalizer.
Yeah. So, and Gary, you're in Florida. You're in big bass country, right? And
Florida and Alabama. Yep.
Florida. You actually fished in Georgia too.
Florida, Alabama, and Georgia. I mean, I'm right there. We
you're right in that area.
I do Seminole, and so I'm in. I mean, I'm not down where John and Lydia are, but I mean, they're in donkey heaven. But I mean, we get some nice bass up here, and it just didn't pan out, But my best laid plans did not work out.
Yeah. I think and Patrick, thanks for saying it's a great format. I agree with you. I think it's really good for the future, and we may adjust it a little bit. I could tell y'all, I'm going to put a little different spin on it for next year as well, because you got to mix it up a little bit, keep everybody
It
interested.
mixed up.
Yeah, but John called me from Small Water Charters and said, "Hey, we blanked on the second half, and they had big plans of 22s and 23s, and just didn't work out. Right, the fish had to cooperate with you, and Patrick down there in North Carolina, just consistent, and I got to plug Nicole. I know she's probably not on here right now. If she is, I didn't catch you, but she's been every 2 or 3 days she's been throwing a fish in there, but she's like, am I doing good? Where am I at? And she's been very consistent, and it pays off in the end. Stoned Aquarius Twins, I don't know who you are, but thanks for jumping in. I'm just looking here in the comments if I'm missing anybody. Thanks everyone for jumping in. I will share the spreadsheet one more time before we jump off if you didn't catch it. Yeah, North Carolina's on the map. Yes, you are. In all fairness, I thought, and Brian's on here, I thought Brian Green had a good chance because he's learned the lake that has a lot of big fish here in Virginia. I thought Virginia was going to do it this time, but again, the fish just didn't. I do think the drought. We had two factors in Virginia that really impacted us. It was the coldest. Is one of the coldest Octobers on record, and two, one of the driest Octobers on record. So we didn't have any water coming in, and it was cold. And actually, the last time I talked to Brian, he and I were out on the lake together on Mooney. He was fishing the tournament. I was just out fishing. I'll put this video out. And it was cold. It was cold. I had dual layers on, and he had dual layers on, a coat, and he looked like he was he was dressed for a blizzard, and he was comfortable. I wasn't. Yeah.
He's sitting on a kayak, right?
Yeah, right on the water.
Yeah, well, it's when you're that close to the water, it starts getting cold. I kayak fish for years in Korea and everywhere else, but yeah, I feel for him. So.
Yeah, Brian's right there. You got lots of fish, but no big ones, right? And so that's fishing, right? Stoned Aquarium Twins, Patrick's cousin from Brooklyn. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Hope you like and subscribe on the channel there. Patrick, if things hold up, you got an opportunity to replenish your war chest with tackle from Tackle Warehouse. One of the things that John told me, and he's not going to be on here tonight. He's driving back from fishing. He said, I spent probably $1,000 in fuel to win that $300 or $200. And I kind of chuckled at that because I kid about this all the time, and it is a joke, folks, because I am guilty as anyone else. I probably got, Gary, you know this, I probably got $2,000
we
to 3,000.
We drove to Lake Eufaula. Okay, well, I had to go there for the tournament, but yeah, it's not. He flew out to Florida. So
yeah, I flew to Florida and then flew to Georgia to get in the tournament. And yeah, I won some money, but I would venture to guess after I paid my entry fee, the gas, the plane ticket, I might have got a $20 bill in my pocket, right?
Yeah, not even that, dude.
Yeah, probably not.
We fish for fun, regardless what it costs us.
True. True.
And like I fished a little tournament I'm in. We're not fishing it for money. If I won 150, $200, yeah, that's great. It's more bragging rights and just having fun and meeting people. So, and that's what these tournaments are. Unfortunately, these type of tournaments we can't meet personally, but this is the new world, and you get the internet connection, and there's a couple of people here that it's almost weird that it's like I kind of know them even though I've never met them personally. So
yeah, the relationships we make over this is phenomenal,
right?
And I will tell you, I don't go hardly ever now. Do I go to the lake and not one person stop me and go, "Hey, I'll watch your videos." It happens just about every time I go out. And I encourage anyone, if you see me out on the lakes, wave me down. I'll come and talk to you. I'm an extrovert. I'll talk to you for a long time. Gary's an
Yep.
extrovert. I promise you. He'll talk
Yep.
to you as well if you
We'll
see him
talk.
out. Yeah.
I've had one person come up and actually at the boat ramp and say, "Hey, Gary from Gary's Fish Tales, I watch your channel." It
Yeah.
was always kind of nice when somebody actually says that. It's like, wow, people do watch my channel. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Mike from Reach Like That, you make a good point. This allows you to compete at the level you want to compete at, and that's important, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody has a $50,000 bass boat. Not everybody has a boat. You know, bank fishing, you can be just as competitive from a bank, from a canoe, from a kayak, and this allows you the opportunity to fish at the level you're comfortable with, and you never know. You might catch the big bass of the tournament. You might catch the winning catch of the tournament. If you're out there casting your arm off, it's fun. You're doing what you love. It's a little bit competitive, and maybe you win a little bit of money. It costs you nothing to enter at this point, and I really want to keep it that way. My goal is to keep it free to enter, especially if we get enough sponsors. And I may add a more competitive part of this. If you want to throw down $20 or something like that, we may make a pay version of this, but it's at your choice. But we'll continue to keep the free. And if I do a pay version of this, it will be 100% payout. I'm not doing this for profit. I'm doing this because I love to promote fishing for everyone, not just the youth. But I think it's important to promote fishing and keep it on the forefront. And we did get a black eye here recently, right, with tournament fishing with the cheaters on the walleye tournament. I want to stay away from that. I think it gave us a black eye, and we need to continue to promote doing great things with fishing out there. And this tournament, and I had several of you that asked me, how do we deal with cheaters? We kick them out, right? And
the best we can.
And do the best you can. That's right.
Yep.
In the format we have, it's hard to cheat a measuring board. And I've said this before. I know the techniques to figure out if your photo is fake or not. So, we want to keep it fun. We want to keep it fun and competitive, as well as I think free is important, right? And Mike, I appreciate that, throwing that out there. Just looking at the comments here. So, hey, Vincent, that's a good point. I'm going to pull it up here. Vincent Crouch said he caught all of his fish from the bank. Let's look at this real quick. I'm just going to bring this up. So Vincent is actually right now in 6th place at 90.5. He caught a 23-inch bass and a 19 3/4 in the second half from the bank.
There you go.
That's being competitive. You can't doubt. You can't blame. You can't go. The bank is a deficit in any way. It's just a matter of what you want to get. What you have available to you. Hey, and then if you get out there and, as I always say, cast your arm off. My granddaughter just walked into the door, but she's not going to. Hey, Lana, you want to get on the live? Nah.
Hey, that was a cute introduction on your last video, by the way.
Oh yeah, she was in my last video.
Yep.
Speaking of that last video, I didn't get as much love on that video, which was really kind of focused around LiveScope. I usually average around 250 watches. Kind of dipped on the LiveScope stuff on this one, and I get it, the reason why, but it was a little different. And when I watched the video, I go, I think it was Deepuck from Doug from Deepuck Fishing. He's like, it's video game fishing, and when I look at it, he's right. It looked like video game fishing for quite a bit of that.
It can be sometimes, but let me tell you, I have LiveScope on the boat and we use it. The LiveScope does not help you catch big fish, because if that was the case, I would be in the tournament top results because
Yep.
I skunked on the second half. I have live scope and I have got a boat. And you have a gentleman here who's fishing from the bank. Okay. Now, I don't use live scope like you used in the tournament, but I mean, in your video, but yeah, you know, technology helps, but you know, if you go to your places and you fish the way you fish, you're going to catch them, you know? So anyways,
So, Steve, you asked if I'm going to send out an email. I'm just answering you. Yeah, I'll try to send out an email. I'll try to keep everybody's email. I try not to spam folks because I get it. But stay tuned to my, if you're a subscriber to the channel, just stay tuned and you'll see a schedule that I'm going to put out in early January or maybe late December or mid-December on what the schedule is. What I got to really think about, and I'll probably do 1 or 2 more lives before I go on that December break for the holidays. I really want to get an idea of when we should schedule the Big Bass regional tournaments, because I want to break it up by regions and I want to make sure I hit the timing right. For example, I can't do Michigan in April because, you know, there's still ice on the water in April in Michigan. So is it May, June for Michigan, the northern region, as I'm calling it? Is it February, March for the southern region? And when I say southern region, it's going to be, if you look at a map, Texas, Oklahoma, straight across the border of Oklahoma, south to Florida, right? You know, across Tennessee, North Carolina. North Carolina will probably be the border. South Carolina will be the border. That will be the southern. The eastern will be in that region in the middle, and then north will be north, and the west will be west, and that's an easy one. But what I want to do is make sure the timing's right and that the fishing is prime. And let me just say this. I'm not focused on the bass spawn, because the bass spawn in different times in different regions. Really what I'd like to really kind of focus on is the pre-spawn. Because the pre-spawn is when you catch the biggest bass. Yes, you'll catch a big one on the nest. Every once in a while, you'll sight fish and catch one. But on average, most of your big bass are caught right before the spawn, the few weeks coming up to the spawn. So I definitely want to get that. I want to get that right for each region to make sure that I'm putting the big bass challenge, as I call it, in the right zone for people to catch big bass. And really, if you think about it, if I miss it by a week or 2, it really doesn't matter, because a week or 2 either way, depending on moon cycles and phases and weather and all that, it really not, it may or may not be a factor on the timing. But just
they
want to
don't
get
all
close.
spawn the same day.
That's correct. That's
you know,
correct.
so.
Yep. So Brian said, live scope helps me see fish I'm not catching.
I agree, Brian. I saw a ton of them. Yeah.
That's a good point. That is a really good point. I feel the same way sometimes. And you know, I think I said this in that last video I did last week, is I learned a lot from live scope by watching the fish and seeing what they would react to, but that doesn't mean you're going to catch them. Right.
Exactly.
That's the kicker. So I'm gonna throw the link up there one more time if anybody else wants to jump in and join us
please,
on
somebody else jump in. Yep.
Yeah. If you
preferably
want,
one of the top 3 people. Are any of them on the channel tonight?
Yeah, Patrick, if you can join in, if you got a microphone, if you're on your phone, it'll work.
I'm on my phone, so
yeah.
Get on your cell phone and do it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear you how you caught the fish. You know what was the secret to success?
Caught him right there.
Yeah, right in the mouth. I didn't see Mike on here from Big Bait.
He was on earlier.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yes. Let me scroll up. So when I'm looking this way, I'm on my computer because my phone doesn't show the stuff. But I could have sworn Big Bait Posse was on here.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, cranking and yanking. Wrong guy. Oop. No, Big Bait Posse was here.
Okay,
deal.
good. Good deal.
He's here. Yeah.
All right. So it's about quarter till 9. I'm going to go ahead and throw this for anyone that's came in late. I'm going to go ahead and throw this spreadsheet up here again for everybody to take a look at. Let me go ahead and share this. And there we go. This is the old spreadsheet. And that is the standings as of right now. 747 is the last time I updated this. And that's where we're at. Patrick, Paul Man's Fishing. And by the way, please go out there and take it and subscribe to his channel. I enjoy the heck out of seeing his content. Really good content. Mike at Big Bait Posse. If you are a smallmouth fisherman and you want to know how to catch big smallmouth, Mike Pendleton at Big Bait Posse, whoo, he can tear them up. And most of the catches that he has done on this for this tournament is on his channel. And Kyle, I'm pretty sure Kyle and his wife both fished this. Not mistaken, they're out in California, but I may be mistaken. But again, this could definitely change depending on what comes in overnight. This is not a final result. But I thought when I built this tournament in the format, I thought between 98 and 105 inches would be the winner. And it's so far proven to be true. And what I also predicted was it would be someone kind of a wild card. And when I mean wild card, everybody thinks Texas or Florida has got all the big bass. I thought that another state, and you can see we got 2 in the top 5 from Tennessee, and North Carolina leading, but it's not Florida, it's not Texas, it's other states that are catching big fish this time of year. I'm going to stop that share right there and go back to the format.
Well, you won't be getting an email from me tonight, Shane. So.
Well, okay. Well, thanks. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to stay up late and look for them. And again, for everybody, I will put out a video next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern with the final results. And those folks that are in the first, second, and third place and the big bait, or not the big bait, but the big bass winner, I will get those gift cards processed the next day or so. Yeah, North Carolina is in the lead. And if you didn't know, I see Russell's on here.
Yep.
You're right, Russell. There's nothing small about those smallmouth. Those were nice tanks of a smallmouth, and how he goes up and down on his kayaks in the river and catches is just amazing. So, and
Yep.
Russell is a beneficiary of multiple giveaways of me. And when I say that, if last spring I did a couple of guess the weights. I think I did 3 guess the weights. I think 2 of the 3 Russell won. Am I right, Russell? He'll tell me in just a second.
He won 1.
I know I think he won 2 of 3. Brian Green won 1, and what was funny is Brian won 1 of I think it was a 7-pounder I caught on Mooney, and he made the comment. It's like that's whatever it was. I think he guessed like 6.99. It was 7.13 or something like that. He's like, I know what a 7-pound bass in Mooney looks like. So it was, yep. Russell said right, 1, 2 of them. I'm going to try to do that again next year, just for fun. I think it's interesting to see the guesses that come in, and I think the Michigan fisherman goes, I'm way off. I think he commented, Elijah, I'm off. I can't get it. So it's not easy to guess the fish from the videos. And 2 things, folks that are YouTubers, get this, or if you're not a YouTuber and you just watch the content, where your camera is placed in the boat makes a huge difference. My camera is 14 feet away from where I'm standing. I've got one of those YOLO poles in the back of my boat where I can get the whole. I don't like the chest view or the head view, and I get it if you're bank fishermen or whatever. I kind of like to watch the camera or watch the action as a whole. So I do the YOLO pole. So when I hold up a fish at 14 feet away, it doesn't look as big as if you've got a chest camera holding it right there on your chest or on your head. And one of the things that Mike does from Reese Life Dad Life is you can see when he takes a picture of his fish, he takes it with his phone, and I know Russell does the same thing as well, versus the camera, and you get a good idea of how big that fish is. Oh, so Brian says he was real close on one though. Yeah, and Stone Aquarium Twin says, yeah, it does matter. It makes a difference where those cameras are. And I'll just tell you up front, I'm 14 feet away. So if my bass that I tell you is 15 inches, if you watch my channel, when I catch one over 4 pounds, I try to weigh it. That's one of the things I do. What I found though, if I weigh it and try to walk to the back of the boat and put the scale in front of the camera, it just sits there and flips back and forth. So I weigh it, look at it, kind of point it towards the camera and tell you what it is. But if I sat there and waited for it to balance, it's just the scale that I have. I have a Rapala scale. It'll sit there and flip.
The lock button.
Yeah, you're right, Gary. I could hit that lock button.
I do the same thing. I turn around and go, it moved. Believe me, it was 352.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of not. And yeah, it's one button. All you do is hit lock and turn it around. But we don't do it because we're not thinking. We just let the fish go and go get another one or try to get another one.
Yeah, yeah. Mike from Reach Like Dad said the GoPro makes things look smaller because of the wide angle lens. You're right. It does. It does do that quite a bit. Brian, I like your videos view, Shane. Shows me what spots to fish. I hope it helps you out. Now that he said that, I'm sorry, I got to take my hearing aid out. The battery went dead. My dad, who's 70 X years, he's 75, 76 years old. I sent him my video. He doesn't have an iPhone, but his wife does. And he watched my video and goes, why in the world are you telling people where to catch your big bass? That was his first thing. Don't tell people where to catch your fish. That's a secret.
They don't understand this YouTube world. Everything was a secret back then. You're in my fishing spot,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
He thinks I'm crazy for telling people or putting the info out there. I was like, Dad, it's public water. I'm on It's not like it's super secret. People can see me out there. And Brian brings a good point. And Brian, I don't get me wrong. I see you out there. I watch you. Right? We're fishermen. We do that. And when I see Brian coming, first thing, because he's got his pole sticking up in the air because he's a kayak fisherman, what am I looking at? What's Brian got tied on his line? Right? That's just natural. We're human. We're fishermen. We want to know what other people are fishing with. Right? It's what we do as fishermen. So I'm glad to share, and I hope I've even told on other live feeds, and I think I did this last week, I think there's a state record bass in Able Lake. And Brian agrees with me. If someone goes out there and catches a state record and I don't catch it, great on them. Great on them, right? It's hard to catch a bass in that lake anyway. But good on them. I'm glad that I opened up the aperture for people to go to that lake and fish. I'm good with it. I'll sleep good at night.
Hey Shane, next time Brian comes up, grab your drop shot rod and say, yeah, I'm getting them all on drop shot.
Well,
when he drives away, break out your spinnerbait again.
Well, the first thing is he'll know that that's crap because
you don't have a drop shot rod. I know.
I do have a drop shot rod, but he knows that Marty is the drop shot guy and I am not. I always say there are no secrets, only success. Good point, Brian. Very good point. So, all right. No one looks like they're jumping in here. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. I wish everybody good luck on the tournament. Again, the results aren't final. I will put the video out on Wednesday night and get everyone the final results. It's let's see. We've only got about 3 hours of fishing left. You're on the East Coast, 2.5 hours of fishing left on the East Coast, maybe if 3 hours at best, if you're night fishing. So it should be everybody has their catches in there and they're trying to get them in. So
Thursday night.
Yeah.
You told them you'd put it out Wednesday night, Thursday night.
Next week, next Wednesday is when I'm putting it.
Oh, next Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Sorry.
I'm gonna
My
give
bad.
give me some time to cut a video, Mr. YouTube.
I think you should put them out tomorrow night.
Not going to happen. Evelyn Williams made a good point. I like when people. Oh, Patrick's coming on.
All right, good.
Hey, Patrick, how are you? Can you hear me? He is frozen. Patrick, can you hear us? Oh, he's frozen. We're gonna. How about now?
Frozen.
Hey, Patrick.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for jumping in.
Thank you for allowing me to come up.
Yeah. So hey, give us an idea of the secret of your success so far. What's been the secret sauce for you?
Man, I literally went fishing almost every day. Every chance that I got, from a couple hours in the evening up until this past week, Shane, I didn't have any bass.
Yeah. So was it today, yesterday? What day did you break through on?
So let me see. It was Thursday. I went night fishing. I've been going night fishing, and I started catching them on a 1/2 ounce spinner bait with a 5 willow, not a willow blade, but Colorado blade. Okay. And just started getting hits. And all of a sudden that night, it just happened. I got a hit. My rod loaded up. Everything was loaded up. I was like, oh man. And it's so different at night because you can't see anything.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, this is a big one. So it got to the bank, not to the bank, to the boat. And I'm like, oh man, this is the one. And I get them in, and I was like, oh man, this one's going to count right here, because I've caught like 19s. I caught, close to 19 3/4, no 20s and a 4. Yeah. And I'm like, I needed this one. So it got my confidence up, because my wife was saying, when I was getting home, she was like, you okay? It's like, what are you doing? Are you okay? And so Monday I went out, and the oddest thing happened. I found a school of bass, and I was just catching white perch. It switched up. I caught, a couple bass, and then I caught 2 bass at a time on one crankbait. Oh yeah. And I was like, oh man, it's happening right now. And all of a sudden I hooked up with another one, and I'm winding that one in, and a big bass comes by and tries to take it out of his mouth. And right at the boat, I'm like, okay. So I just let the line loose and started playing with him. And all of a sudden, that little bass went down, about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, went down, and up came the big bass with the hook in his mouth. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Grabbed the net real quick, got him in the boat. And I'm like, this is it. Yeah. This is it. So the last 3 days have been crazy. From falling off my boat in the water. I was like, at night, one of my friends' first time fishing adventures, Clyde, he was out there, but I fell off my boat. I was like, oh man, this is I feel like I'm talking too much, guys.
No. This is great.
Awesome story. Awesome story. Yeah.
But the night before I caught my last one, I went out and fell off the boat, soaking wet, lost my knife, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is the worst. This is the worst. But the next day when I went out, no distractions, just went out and started grinding, and it just happened.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. I got to ask you, I love to night fish, and Gary knows this. We've been night fishing before. We won't go into the details of our night fishing, but a black spinnerbait with a black Colorado spinnerbait, black colored with the Colorado blade is magical at night. Is that what you were fishing with?
I was using a red one.
Okay, a darker color.
Red and black, same at night. Yep.
Yep.
And I've never caught them like that on a spinnerbait. I've always had it, and I always wanted to fish, that bait, but I never had that opportunity. And night fishing, this was the first time during this tournament that I ever been night fishing. So that was an experience for me too.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, and it's a different animal night fishing, right?
It is.
You don't have an idea where, the bank, you kind of know where the bank is, but you can't predict which way your fish is running. Once you hook that fish, you don't have the vision that you have in the day. It's all kind of instinct, right? It makes it a little difficult.
That same night, Shane, that I fell off the boat, I hooked up with one on a rattle trap because nothing was happening. My hours were between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock when the fish started biting. And I was like, okay. 9 o'clock came. It's 9:30. I'm throwing that same spinnerbait through a top water whopper plopper. Nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw my rattle trap and see what happens. First cast, I hook up with one, and all I could hear is the splash. I'm like, oh, rod loading up. I was like, this is a big one. This is a big one. I get it right to the boat. I got my headlamp on, trying to see this bass. He comes up shaking. I'm like, oh, man. And I was so distracted with what had happened earlier with me falling in the water. I never got my net ready.
Oh,
so I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, man, I need to get my net. So I grab my net. My net isn't even open. I'm like, I'm going to get this bass in this unopened net anyway. And all of a sudden, like, my line goes flat, and I'm trying to look. I'm like, where is this bass? Where is this bass at? And he takes a dive right underneath the boat, and all I feel is my rattle trap vibrating back up to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was the one. That was the one. And I was already, halfway soaked, and I'm like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'm going home. Yeah.
Well, Patrick, you grinded it out. You're in a good position right now to be in, right now you're in first place, and I would say pretty confidently you're going to be in the money unless something strange happens. So congrats on getting out there and grind. And you probably, I think Russell turns you on to our channel, Russell from RWA Fishing.
Right. Yeah.
I refer to Russell as the ultimate grinder. Because he gets out there and gets in the lily pads, puts his hip waders on, and gets out there and catches them no matter what. And
right.
You are in the same category, my friend. If you're out there night fishing like that and you're wet and you're still out there fishing, you deserve to win. I'm just going to say it that way. And I don't care how you slice it. Falling off the boat, falling off your kayak or however you want to look at it and getting wet and staying out there and fishing takes some guts. It does. It does. Brian from the Michigan Fisherman's out here, he dumped his kayak about 2 months ago and lost everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So, good on you for getting out there and continue to catch those fish. And I wish you luck, my friend. I hope that you stay in that first place position. And it's amazing that you got out there and you caught some big ones. Gary, I see you're about ready to comment. What do you got?
Yeah. What state are you from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Oh, good. I only watched the video all night long on this, and I forgot North Carolina's in first place. Yep. Okay.
Eastern North Carolina.
So
Yes, sir.
was there,
Greenville.
when you fell off, is there gators in that lake you were in?
No, it's a lot of chain peckerel out there, but no gators.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know where the gators shortage. I know they got gators in South Carolina.
Right.
Right. I didn't know about North Carolina. I know they don't have them in Virginia, so
we have some gators out there. I've actually seen a few, but just not in that area.
Oh, okay. All right. So they are up that north. Okay. So
So
just
Patrick,
throwing that out there to make your night fishing adventure more adventurous.
When you hear the animals out there, Gary, it's like, oh man,
yes,
where are you?
Yep.
Patrick, what's the largest city close to where you live at? To give everybody an idea, Eastern North Carolina.
I'm in Greenville, North Carolina. So yeah,
very familiar with Greenville.
The nearest would be, biggest city, Raleigh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me and Gary both are prior Air Force, so we know where Seymour Johnson Air Force Base is, which is not far from where you're at, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. Well, thanks for sharing with us, Patrick. I'm so glad you jumped on here, and people were asking about how you caught the fish and the baits, and I would guess no one went night fishing with the spinnerbait.
Right.
So sometimes you got to be creative and get out there to catch them. So good on you, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah. It was an experience and something that I really enjoyed, Shane. This was my first online tournament. And so I've never really tournament fished ever. I compete against myself a lot. I have a goal that I try to, catch 5 for 15 anytime I go out. But this was the first time entering into a online tournament. And when you guys say that, cast till your arm hurts. The first time my arm started hurting, guys, I was like, I must have slept wrong. Like something's going on right here. And then a couple days ago, well, no, not even a couple days. Was it yesterday before? Monday. My shoulder was hurting. I had already caught my second bass, and my shoulder was hurting. I stopped at another small lake, and I didn't want to cast anymore. I was like, my buddy's like, "What you doing?" I was like, right now I'm just sightseeing because my arm hurt so bad."
I carry a pocket full of aspirin if that helps, so
yeah.
It's a little trick I've learned over the years, and yes, it helps.
Yeah. Gary and I were fishing a in-person tournament there in Eufaula, which you heard earlier, but several times Gary's like, I'm going to the back, getting off camera. And I look back and Gary's, popping the aspirin. He's like, trying, staying in the game, whatever it takes, right?
That's more for my back, not my arm. But yes, after the full fishing day and, not 10, what is it? What was it? A 10-hour tournament, Shane?
10-hour days,
between the back and then the cast. I mean, we casted our arms off, and you have to, So medicine helps.
I'm gonna have to work on that, and I needed some sleep. So the last couple of days I've been, well, not even a couple of days. It started yesterday. I've been taking some real naps.
There you go. Yep. Catch up on that sleep.
Yeah,
naps are good.
Yeah. Gary's a napper.
Naps are good. Yes.
All right, Patrick. Thanks for jumping in. We're going to kind of close this down, and good luck. Hopefully, when you see that video Wednesday, you're up in that top spot. I'm rooting for you for sure.
Thank you. Thank you all so much.
All right.
Good luck.
Have a good night.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank you.
All
right, Gary. Thanks for jumping in. Hey, everybody. You bet I'm gonna kick you out here if you don't mind. Everyone, thanks again for tuning in tonight. Again, the video will come out on Wednesday the 9th on the final results. I know it's a little bit of a delay. I just want to make sure I have the results right. I get a good content out there for you guys to enjoy. And again, just to reiterate, Shane Flynn Outdoors will kind of go. We are an LLC now, and we will be the free fishing tournament venue for online tournaments into the future next year. So spread the word, help get the word out there. We want everyone from the bank to the boat to the kayak to the canoe out here enjoying fishing and being a little competitive. So until next time, thanks again, everybody, and tight lines and good luck fishing.